Hi, Arnold. Welcome. Oh, I must be careful when I go online that I'm looking presentable. We're having our part 2 today, Secrets of Online Sessions. And today we want to speak about very important aspect, if not maybe the most important aspect. What is the value of online session, especially when you compare it to one-on-one sessions? What is the attitude of the hypnotherapist? How do we frame this? How do we come across and know and learn that we can have equal value when we do online sessions in comparison to one-on-one sessions? Please enlighten us.
Hi, Claudia. Yes, I think at the moment, online sessions has more value than one-on-one sessions. And the reason for that is because of this COVID thing, right? So at the moment, you cannot get infected via online session. You cannot spread the disease. You do not have to spend an hour, 2 hours cleaning your practice after every session and wear masks and spray everything. And so right now at this time, and it's probably going to continue for a while with the social distancing, the online sessions to me are a lot more valuable than one-on-one sessions. And I think that's important for you to realize that. And then when your attitude when you come to these sessions should be of bringing a lot of value and also feeling that you are adding that value and being professional, right? So the worst thing you can do is be nervous. Like if you're giggling and you in your mind you have a belief or your thinking is that it's just an online session, then you are devaluing it. And your client will sense it, they'll feel it and they'll react to it. So it's your job it's business as usual, be professional and go into this attitude of you are giving maximum value to this client, right? Yeah, if that makes sense.
That would go, I mean, you're still going to go and tell us lots more about the actual session so that we can build up confidence in doing online sessions. And but value also will reflect in the amount that you will ask in terms of payment for the session. And when do you actually get paid for online sessions? Personally, I would think that would need to happen before the session, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. Always ask for payment up front. And I think this is another little thing where it shows if you value yourself and you value your service. Because some people will actually take a chance and not pay up front. So you tell your client up front, payment is due before the session. And then some people will actually stretch it and they will, like right before the session, you check your phone and then there's still no payment. Right. So my recommendation is value yourself, value your sessions enough to insist, to say to the client, if you haven't received payment, for instance, or proof of payment by, for instance, the morning before the session, send them a message and say, would you like to reschedule? Because I see no proof of payment has come through yet. And the first time, maybe the first, second, third time, first few times you do this, it's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking, standing on that boundary of yours like that and valuing yourself. But after that, it becomes easy. And you know what? Clients, they feel it and they respond to that, and they're gonna feel they're gonna get value because you insist on that value up front.
Yeah. Tell me something, Arno. As I say, we haven't really gone into the session. By the time we are through with these educational videos, do you think it's possible for somebody like me who's never done an online session that I would actually transfer my confidence I have in my therapy room into this new platform?
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is so important to realize that only way you're going to build that confidence is to actually do it and then to get feedback, to see the results. You know, come the end of that session and you do your transformation and that client comes out and you see that beaming smile, the tears and the smile and everything, and you notice the impact. Then you know, wow, this is working and it's working online. So that will build your confidence and that will cause you to become more open and available to do more and more of these sessions.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I think it's actually, if I look back now, for me doing online sessions is just the norm. It's the easiest thing in the world. And yet I know there's been a process where I started where I had to kind of transition into it. But after a while, it becomes just like a normal one-on-one session. It's like you just do it. You don't even think about it. You get so good at it that it happens automatically.
Well, what I can compare it with is I haven't met my family or dear friends in person, obviously, because of the social distancing. But even when I speak with you, I find that our communication, our conversation is just equally as good as being in person.
Yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's basically just getting used to it.
Mm.
And I think that's important to start practicing with people, you know, friends, study buddies. Just start doing video calls already. As you're now learning to do online sessions, do little mock sessions or practice just to get it started.
So since I started learning the Zoom platform or whatever platform the therapist or facilitator we're wanting to use, I also think it's a good idea to get familiar with the technical side of this, where to place your, where is the good reception, how do I look, uh, is, when do I record, is the camera on, is the sound okay, and things like that. And I know that you said with the next video we're doing, you're actually going to give us the secrets how the pre-talk is going to be different and how the induction is a little bit varied.
Yeah.
And would you say then is the time to really go and practice it either with fellow facilitators or with friends or family?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think in the meanwhile, depending on how much you've been using video calling, what you can practice already is just talking, right? So, you know, like what you would normally do an audio call, consider doing a video call and just kind of get used to it. It's like, for instance, I don't know, WhatsApp, the little voice message, you know, the voice recording function it has. The first few times you use that, it's weird and you sound weird to yourself, and maybe the words don't come out quite the way you want to. And yet if you do that a few times, you get used to it, and then it starts flowing, and then it's natural, and then the person receiving it also feels it as natural. So my recommendation is just maybe start just doing calls if you haven't done a lot of video calls, just to start with friends, partner, you know, somebody that's in lockdown somewhere else, just to kind of get ease into it. Obviously, we're going to talk in more detail of how to do the actual session. So we recommend you wait for that before you start doing those. But for now, if you haven't done a lot of video calls, consider just doing more video calls.
Yeah. Okay. So getting familiar with the platform, with the technical side, a question that comes up for me, when we are ready to do proper sessions, do you think, or what is your practice? Do you record this so that you can prove to whomever what was the content of the session? Or do you just keep the audio, or don't you record anything at all?
I don't record anything. I think that might cause people not to actually connect or emote, or, you know, just like in practice, we don't actually record the session, right? Unless you ask permission and it's like audio recording or something like that. But generally, I would not recommend recording, and don't try and record it without the client knowing, because if you press record, it shows on their side that you're recording. So please don't record it unless you are asking permission up front and they are comfortable with that. But generally, think about it. This video file can easily end up on YouTube. It can easily end up on the internet. And this can cause a person to start getting worried, and they might sit there thinking, maybe I should be careful of how I look right now. Do I have a double chin at the moment? You know, maybe I should have put on more makeup, right? So these are the last things that you want a client to go through their mind. So my recommendation is don't record anything.
Thank you for that. In other words, when we market our or advertise our services online, maybe that should be mentioned with the confidentiality clause, that
Yes,
unless the client requests this for any reason, the sessions will not be recorded for confidentiality reasons. But that
absolutely.
brings me to another thing, Arno, that is really important, and I don't know at what stage, from a technical side, what if you started, God forbid that the client is in hypnosis, but what are you going to do when the line really drops completely and you lose connection?
Yeah. Now, I think that's very important, Claudia, because and this is also part of being confident. So if that line drops, you as a facilitator should not freak out, right? Um, they're going to hear it in your voice when you connect again. So it's important to kind of pre-frame it or preempt it in the pre-talk and tell the client, you know what, with these kind of connections, you never know. The connection might go off. You know, it really does. It should be fine. But if it had to go down, this is how we'll handle it, right? So if we are in hypnosis, then what will happen is, and I go quiet, um, you can just open your eyes and look at your screen. And what I will do is I'll instantly reconnect again, right? So just look out for my connection and just open that connection again so we can continue. And you will actually find that this it only has a positive effect. When that happens, you are able to just close your eyes and go deeper. And that's what you tell your client. The moment you see them again, you just say to them, that's right, close your eyes and go deeper. And you know from the training that we call that fractionation. So that is valuable. You're actually fractionating your client. So it's not an issue. Even if the connection gets broken for up to a minute, you can just tell your client, close your eyes and go deeper, and then just lower your tonality a little bit and just make sure, watch those trance signals and make sure they dip right back into it. The real problem comes in when that connection drops and you can't get it open again. If you start dialing again, you know, video call, whatever, and it's just not going through. And what you must do if that happens, and you tell your client you're going to do that, if you can't get hold of them, you're going to give them a normal audio call, not a WhatsApp call, a normal audio call, right? And that's important because you want them to pick it up and you want to finish the session. So you need to make sure that you have enough airtime on your phone to be able to do that, right? It's a worst case scenario. It doesn't happen often, but if it had to happen, it's not so bad, right? You can actually continue the session. You just won't be able to see your client and finish it, right?
Yeah.
If this happens like right in the beginning, then maybe consider postponing the session, right? If you see up front already the connection is poor and it keeps dropping, whatever, then don't battle through it. Consider doing it another day. Maybe something somewhere on the internet is loose.
Yeah,
If that makes sense.
that's true. Well, I think that helps a lot already. I'm really looking forward to the next one when we talk about the pre-talk and how the induction is different. Is there anything else that you want to say today about maybe the data usage or yeah, whatever there is still to say as a preparation to the online session?
Yes, Clara, definitely data usage. I think you must keep in mind that these video sessions can use a lot of data, right? So what I find, I use my phone, and what I find generally, you're looking at about 100 megs per 10 minutes. So this typically means about 600 megs per hour or 900 megs for an hour and a half. So this means if your session goes over an hour and a half towards 2 hours, you're not going to make it on a gigabyte, right? So then you need to buy more than a gigabyte of data. So that's just important to keep in mind. And with that, also your phone, make sure you can have it on charge or on a power bank, because one session like this can completely deplete your phone. In 2 hours, it can go completely flat. You might not even make 2 hours sometimes. So depending on the size of the battery and so on. So have a little power bank or your charger, have it plugged in, and make sure you have sufficient data. And tell your client to have sufficient data. Normally they'll be at home, they'll have Wi-Fi, and that won't be a problem. But make sure that if they're not, that they do have enough data loaded. That is very, very important. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, that's really good. So I'm very excited because what I'm hearing you say is that even if you haven't done online sessions, and it is the way to go under the circumstances, that you feel that by the time we're done with this video educational efforts that we're doing here, you're going to make us all confident online practitioners.
Definitely, definitely. I think only you can make yourself confident, but I'm definitely hoping that I will inspire you to do it, just because from my frame of reference, this is so easy. This is so easy. You can do it, and you're going to be amazed once you get going. You're going to think, why haven't you started it before? Because just think about the potential for a moment. You can build an international client base. Imagine that. You know, imagine your income. Imagine the difference that can make. And if anything like this ever had to happen again, where you're isolated, you would still be guaranteed your income. You'd still be able to continue.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Cool. Thank you, Arno. And as we said, I'm really excited for the next one, because the next little video that we're going to do is getting us started into the practical part, where we talk
Yes.
about what are the secrets about the pre-talk for an online session, and how is the induction different. All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Here we
for your
go.
time, Arno. Unless you have some closing statements, I think we're done for today.
All good. Thank you, Claudia.
Fine. Bye.
Bye.